Chapter 2. A brother, a sister, and a dog make a world. Distraction era. The moment Hiroshi saw these three words, his heart pounded wildly. They seemed to possess a chilling power, making his hands and feet go cold. He abruptly walked to the window and looked up at the sky. What was once a clear blue sky was now covered in an eerie gloom. The brilliant sun appeared partially obscured, with darkness encroaching and spreading. An eclipse? Hiroshi knew that rare astronomical events like eclipses would be reported by the Astronomy Bureau and media a week in advance. Yet, he had heard nothing about an eclipse. This could only mean one thing. The system's warning about the destruction era might be real. This wasn't an eclipse. It was a sign of the impending apocalypse. The apocalypse is coming, and there's less than 6 hours left. What should I do? Hiroshi's mind was a whirlwind. After forcing himself to calm down, he thought deeply and spoke aloud. In an apocalypse, there will be sudden temperature changes and food shortages. Right? Clothing and food. Food, clothing, shelter, and transportation are basic necessities. History has proven time and again that during disasters, the most critical resources are warm clothing and food to stave off hunger. Securing these two essentials is the first step to survival. With this realization, he immediately rushed out, scooping up Kiko and the dog, Benji, and headed straight for the truck parked at the manor gate. 30 minutes later, Hiroshi returned from the city with his truck loaded with supplies, from winter clothing to culinary spices, and even a small diesel generator. It took him nearly 2 hours to move everything into the storeroom, but only then did he feel a bit more at ease. Big brother, why did we buy so much stuff? Kiko asked from the passenger seat, her little legs dangling and swinging as she gnawed on a chicken leg. Are you opening a supermarket? Indeed, from the variety and quantity of supplies Hiroshi had purchased, it could stock a small supermarket. In other words, if these supplies were for just 2 people, they could last 2 or 3 years. Better safe than sorry, Hiroshi replied, not directly addressing Kiko's question. After all, the concept of the apocalypse was too frightening and foreign for a child. He checked the system prompt again. Time until the destruction era, 3 hours, 26 minutes, and 37 seconds. The sky was growing even darker. The sun was now more than half obscured, casting an oppressive atmosphere over the world. Hiroshi's home was a 2-story building within the manor. The first floor had been a dining area for guests, fully equipped with kitchen appliances. There was also a 100-square-meter storeroom connected to the kitchen for storing food and seeds. The second floor housed his and Kiko's bedrooms. After carefully closing all the windows on both floors and ensuring everything was secure, he went out to the livestock area. He herded the somewhat agitated cows and sheep into the barn and locked them in, finally allowing himself to breathe easier. Only then did he have time to examine the specifics of this apocalypse game. The virtual interface was rudimentary, resembling a crudely made web game. It had 3 options: Permissions Interface, Redemption Interface, Mall Interface. He first glanced at the Permissions Interface. Level 1 Shelter Permissions. Remote control of the shelter for 50,000 points. Allows players to monitor and command the shelter and all mall products in real time, even when away. Other permissions require upgrades to unlock. Raising an eyebrow, Hiroshi then entered the mall interface. The mall interface popped up, showing 3 categories, with 7 more categories grayed out, indicating activate after shelter upgrade. The 3 available categories were upgrade, tools, and resources. Hiroshi chose the upgrade category. Upgrade shelter, defense, expansion. Defense and expansion were 2 separate tabs with different items for sale. Defense. Fence. Wooden, 1 meter for 30 points. Iron, 1 meter for 300 points. Concrete thorn, 1 meter for 600 points. Alloy fortress, 1 meter for 6,000 points. Radar guard. Monitoring, 1 unit for 2,000 points. Patrol, 1 unit for 5,000 points. Laser tower. Locked. Warning. Player Hiroshi's shelter defense rating is 3, capable of deterring small wild animals, categorized as extremely high risk. It is advised to establish a defense system promptly. A bamboo and wire fence encircled the manor, trembling in the wind. Next, Hiroshi looked at the expansion items. Expansion. Intelligent work robot. Household, 1 unit for 10,000 points. Agricultural, 1 unit for 50,000 points. Industrial, 1 unit for 500,000 points. Battle warrior, level 1 hummingbird, 1 unit for 1,000 points. Level 2 hound, 1 unit for 5,000 points. Level 3 human, 1 unit for 50,000 points. Level 4 tank, 1 unit for 5 million points. Level 5 mecha, 1 unit for 1 billion points. Hiroshi felt dizzy seeing all those zeros. The prices were astronomical. Overall, this apocalypse game resembled Disaster Shelter or Red Alert, centering on a base for expansion or development. Feeling a bit overwhelmed, Hiroshi remembered he hadn't checked his newbie rewards yet. With trembling hands, he opened his inventory to see a package icon. He received points, 500,000, radar, 3 monitoring units, 1 patrol unit, battle warriors, 20 level 1 hummingbirds, 1 level 2 hound, seeds, radiation resistant 30 pounds of corn, 30 pounds of soybeans, 30 pounds of rice. Virtual day, energy, 300 out of 300. Level 1 crop growth accelerant, 80 liters. Level 1 livestock growth accelerant, 80 liters. Would you like to retrieve the items from your inventory? Hiroshi chose yes. Instantly, a pile of items appeared before him. The most striking were the mechanical battle warriors. 20 hummingbird-level battle warriors, their metallic bodies glinting dimly, hovered silently like real hummingbirds. Curious, Hiroshi examined the mechanical guards. His mind worked like a high-powered computer, displaying their stats. Level 1 hummingbird unit, primary battle warrior. Ammunition, 100 out of 100. Damage, 0 out of 100. Speed, 5 meter per second. Firepower, 3. Can pierce 3 millimeters steel. Defense, 1. Can withstand a 100 kilograms attack. Attack mode, gunfire. With a thought, he commanded them to attack. In an instant, the hummingbird guards sprang into action, gunfire resounding. A distant water tank was shattered in moments. Hiroshi's pupils contracted. Such firepower would be lethal to a human. He then turned to the single hound level unit. Level 2 hound unit, secondary battle warrior. Ammunition, 50 out of 50. Fuel, 100 out of 100. Speed, 4. Firepower, 6. Defense, 5. Attack modes, burn, gunfire, bite. A flash of fire erupted. A 10-meter-long flame burst from the mechanical hound's mouth, creating a massive fireball. Even from 10 meters away, Hiroshi could feel the searing heat. This flame could melt steel. Yes. Seeing these items, Hiroshi couldn't help but laugh. The newbie rewards were indeed powerful. With these, even in the apocalypse, he had the means to survive. 30 minutes later, Hiroshi returned to the small building. His points had dwindled from 500,000 to around 30,000. He had bought 5 monitoring guards, 1 patrol guard, and 20 hummingbird-level battle warriors, and reinforced his manor with an iron fence. You couldn't be too cautious. In the apocalypse, the darkness within humanity would be fully exposed. In other words, in the face of disaster, people who lost their humanity became part of the disaster. Better to be prepared. With his manor now fortified, Hiroshi felt confident that no one could break in unless they were a trained military force. The TV was still playing Peppa Pig. Kiko laughed heartily along with the show. On the table was a half-eaten plate of fried rice and chicken legs. Hiroshi sat down and started eating, smiling as he asked, "Why didn't you finish?" "Not hungry. Benji and I are full." Kiko shook her head. "I saved this for you, big brother." Hiroshi paused, then smiled, taking a few bites before tossing the bone with some meat left to Benji, who was watching eagerly. Woof. Benji jumped up, happily gnawing on the bone. Hiroshi exhaled deeply. These days were indeed pleasant, but how much longer could they last? He glanced at the ominously dark sky and, after a moment of silence, gently patted Kiko's head, asking, "Kiko, if the world stays this dark from now on, will you be scared? Kiko nodded. Yes, I'll be scared. Then, as if she remembered something, she snuggled into Hiroshi's arms, pulling his arm around her shoulders, giggling. But like this, I won't be scared.